Alright team, hello and welcome. This video, I'm excited because we're getting into the nitty gritty. We are going through the official company setup and how we're going to be laying the foundations for creating our new business and setting up our new life. Quick story. When I was faced with this same stage when I was first starting out, I almost didn't want to set my company up as a limited company. I just kind of wanted to dabble in it and try it first. I didn't want to go and buy like a professional email. I just wanted to use the normal email. And that's a form of fear. And if you're sat there thinking, you don't want to commit and get everything set up on Company's House until you know that it works, that's why it ain't going to work. The things that we're going to be talking about here, you really got to go all in. And if you don't want to get things set up properly from the start, that highlights your belief. It means that you don't think things are going to go well to the point that you need all this stuff. So, no, we're not leaving in one foot out of the boat. We're going all in. We're setting it up properly from the start as we mean to go on. What we're going to be going over in this video is how we're going to be picking a name for your agency. We're going to go through the logo creation and how to register as a limited company on Company's House so it's all official. We're going to be getting you a domain name that we're going to use for your website, and we're also going to be syncing that to a business email so it looks all legit and professional. When it comes to picking a name for your agency, this bit takes people weeks, days, months, and I'm telling you right now, this should be one of the fastest things. The name that you pick, it doesn't need to mean anything. Everyone overthinks this so much. You gotta give it a meaning, all right? It doesn't need to mean anything. So, some quick tips and tricks for you. You need to avoid names that are common, right? So when I first started, I wanted to use blueprint marketing. There's 1,001 things that come up on Google if you type in the word blueprint. And also, so that's the problem for two reasons. Number one, there might be another company called Blueprint Marketing or something. And the last thing you want to be doing, especially when you're getting set up, is getting done for any type of trademark. What if you accidentally do it for a massive company? It does happen, all right? So don't pick anything too generic. The second way is all of these words that you type in on Google, they are linked to SEO values, right? So generic things like the word marketing already have loads of things pop up. There's loads of businesses called marketing or have marketing within their copy on their website. So don't pick two generic things. So this is an example here. If you type in blueprint marketing, 1,001 things come up to do with any of those two words. If you're a fresh website, it's going to take so long for you to rank above these sites that who knows how long they've been there for. So when you're setting up a company, you want to be checking the SEO competition on those words, because if it's something which has got a load of stuff on there and it's big players like LinkedIn, it's pretty much going to be impossible for you to be found if someone does specifically search for your website name. I'm not entirely sure this is the best framework, but in terms of how I've always picked business names and how my agency, Kiora Marketing's name was created, I just type in Asian baby names on ChatGPT and Google. The reason I do this is because all these words, they tend to have low SEO value, and I make it relevant to marketing by saying Kiora Marketing or something like that. They have low SEO, so it's easier to rank on Google. And that means my clients can easily find me. Now, that's something that I'm going to prioritize always over just having a cooler, sexier name. I need to be visible if my clients look for me. So don't be afraid to pick a name with no meaning or no relevance. You can just add a suffix next to it like Kiora Marketing, Kiora Media, Kiora IO, Kiora Leads. These are really common. If you're super stuck, yeah, we got AI now. You don't need to be creative. So you can just go ahead and ask ChatGPT, say, hey, this is the niche that I'm working in. Give me 50 random name ideas for my marketing agency. Choose one, move forward, don't overthink it. In terms of creating your logo, me personally, I prefer just the word logos. I think they look classier, and they're always ones that I've used whenever I've created companies or advised people when to do it. However, the exception to that, if you're creating a random company name and your niche is, I don't know, buildings, then yeah, maybe it would make sense to have a logo with something to do with buildings or a house, just so at a glance I can understand what it is. This is just an example I found on Canva, but just keep it simple, keep it clean, keep it professional. Make it something real dead basic. Again, you don't want to get done for anything to do with the trademarks or anything. Just a brief symbol that represents something to do with your niche. What we've got here is a prompt that I've created for you on ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like one of the best logo creators in the world. So why not use it? If you give it good prompts, it can really spell out some really good logos for you. So obviously you've got this presentation. Completely copy this, obviously insert your agency name into the brackets, and click it, and then it's going to spit out for you 10 logos. Force yourself to pick one of the 10 logos, because trust me, you can be here for 3 weeks, and it's a form putting off the more important things to do. I tested this prompt for my agency, and these are the logos it came up with. They're pretty good. You know, I quite like that one over here. And, you know, this is like just the basic prompt. I'm sure if I actually spent more time, like you might want to, and give it more information. Yeah, because these AIs work when you feed it information. Give it information about your niche, the colors that you like, show other examples, screenshots, things off Google Images or stuff that you like. You're going to be able to spit out something really good. But try and give yourself a deadline of an hour to do it, I would say maximum. So we just got the fun bit out of the way. So you know we've got to do the boring bit now. You've got to set yourself up as a private limited company. A limited company is going to be the best way for you guys to set up your business for 2 reasons. Number one, the business is seen as a completely separate entity to you. So you've got Cobi and you've got the business. So if you ever want to get loans in the future, or maybe the business took a loan and they can't afford to pay it for whatever reason, hopefully that doesn't happen. It's all linked to a limited company. It's not going to be linked to you. Obviously check this with your accountant and stuff, but for the most part, it's the safest way of doing that. It's also the most tax efficient way. If you set it up as a proper company, when you got real expenses like ad spends, stuff like your website, it's gonna be tax deductible. So it's definitely a better way to do it. In terms of how to set it up, I've just dropped the link here to the official Go website. It's actually super easy. I know what you're thinking. When you say setting up a company, it sounds complicated, right? The best way to do it is just literally to click on that link and follow the step-by-steps. We've got some for you in a sec, which I'll talk you through. But yeah, before you do that, make sure you go ahead and click on our website and just check that the company name's even available. I've been there. It took me like 3 times. Like I thought of really good names, checked it on the company's house, which is part of the setup in that link there. And yeah, someone else has taken it, you know. If it is already registered and you want to keep it, just do something minor, like change one of the letters. As long as the word still makes sense, or add something before or after, or the spelling, you know, there's a few loopholes there. If you don't fancy reading the government website, which I think is the best way to do it, or you just want a simplified version, you already know we've created a guide for you here. It's a PDF. It's just a checkbox which talks you through a step-by-step. Super easy. You'll be able to do it in literally 15 minutes. So feel free to click this PDF here if you want. The next stage is that we're going to have to get you a domain name. So once you've got your company name, it's important that your website and everything else, like your email, it all matches up. The domain name is what we're using for both the website and the email. I want you to buy it from Squarespace. I know there's a few different providers. Some might be a bit more, some might be a bit less. Squarespace, old money, in my opinion, is the best one because it recently replaced Google Domains. This is the one that has the easiest connectivity to most of the tools that we're going to be talking through later on and some of the other modules. You always want to choose the .com domain. And I know it's tempting to pick the .co.uk when you see it's like a considerably cheaper. I say considerably cheaper. We're talking like £10. Yeah. It's the best for email deliverability. At some point, you'll be wanting to send emails out to your clients. And if that's for outreach or to try and win their business, like if it goes to junk and you lose an opportunity, it's really not worth it. Okay. So always pick the .com. It's also useful to have a .com domain because if you're growing and you want to expand, or you're picking a niche where you can go in multi-countries. Yeah, we sometimes run ads in the States. I'm sure some of you will scale to that point. .com means you're worldwide. .co.uk might put off some people in European countries or the States wanting to work with you. If you want to purchase the domain through Squarespace, click purchase domain, link at the bottom here. If you're stuck with it, you know that we've already got a guide for you coming up as well. So before you do that, you need to make sure that the domain is actually available. So you can just click on that link and I'll just show you in the past slide and just type in the business name here. Again, if you absolutely love your business name and for whatever reason it's not available, just add something before and after it. You know, you could just have like business name leads. You could just say business name leadgeneration.com or something like that. Those are usually available. So don't worry, you're probably not going to have to think of a completely new business name. If you're stuck or you find it confusing doing it on the Squarespace website, which I think is pretty straightforward, we got you. We created another PDF simple step-by-step checklist guide. All you need to do is click download here on this link. So once you've bought your domain name, and only once you bought the domain name, now we can start to set up the business email. It's an absolute non-negotiable to set up the email. I know some of you are going to be wanting to keep costs down at the beginning. Trust me, it is more expensive. These business owners that have got the money to invest in marketing and pay you what you're going to be worth, like, they're not going to, it's going to damage the trust and your credibility if you're sending them emails off, you know, your name at live.co.uk or Gmail. It just doesn't set the right tone. So don't take shortcuts. We're going to actually use the domain name that we bought from Squarespace. They have a direct integration with Google Workspace, and we're going to use that to set up our main email. You can do that by clicking that link below. And when you're creating your business email, don't set it as your name, because we want to give the appearance that we're a proper company with more people. So use a generic one. The one that I recommend is saying info at your business, admin, or hello. They're pretty standard ones. If you find the Google Workspace website confusing, again, we got you. We've got a really simple, straightforward PDF step-by-step guide here for you to follow, which will make it easier for you to do. You can just download that here in the same way. So quite a fast module in terms of the understanding, but you've definitely got some homework. I don't want you to proceed past this video unless you have done the following. You need to make sure that you got a name for your agency. You need to make sure that you got a logo created. If you don't want to do a logo, just use the wording. You need to have submitted an application for a limited company. And then you need to own a .com domain name that you need to have purchased from Squarespace. And then you also need to set up a business email that you've got from Google Workspace, because it's the easiest one to link in with Squarespace. So please make sure you've got that. And once you've done that, let's get on to the next video.